Welcome to this new video on Microsoft Word. Today we're going to see the commands header, footer, and some other useful commands. Let's begin by going on the Insert tab and start from the group of commands called header and footer. The header is usually something that we can find at the beginning of each page of our file, in which we can write useful information such as the author of the document or any other thing that we think it's important enough to have at the beginning of each page. To add an header in Microsoft Word, we just click on this command, and here we have a few options of styles that we can choose for the header of our file. Then we can also choose more headers from office.com, as you can see. Or if we don't want to use one of the templates that we have here, we can just click on Edit Header, and it will open this new tab with all the commands useful to format the header however we like. But for now, let's go back to Insert, click on Header, and choose one of the templates that we have right here. For example, let's choose this one. As you can see, it now went back to the tab that it opened before. So we can now edit the header and add whatever we want. If we want to add a page number, we just click on this command and we can choose where we want the page number, whether we want it on the top, bottom, on the margins, or in the current position. Once we choose the position, for example, top page number, we can choose how we want to view the page number. For example, if we want it on the left, on the center of the page, or on the right, or there are also other type of formatting that we can choose from. If we don't want any of this, we can have more page numbers from office.com, or we can go on format page number, and it will open this little menu where we can choose the format that we want. Let's leave this one. We can choose if we want to include chapter numbers or not. And if we decide to include them, we can choose the style for them and which separator we want. And of course, we can decide where we want the page number to start, if we want to continue from previous sections or start at a specific page. For now, let's click on Cancel, and let's choose one of the templates that we have right here. For example, this one. And as you can see, now we have a page number, and if we back out of the header and click on blank page, it will add a page, and the page number will automatically go to the next number. And it will do the same if we add another page as well, and so on. Now, if we go back to the header, we can also add date and time by clicking on it and choosing the date that we want, for example, the date of today. And as you can see, here we have it. We can also add document infos such as author, file name, right here, file path or document title, which in this case would be the same as file name. And then we have also other property that we can add to the header. Another important thing that we can add to the header is pictures, and we can either click on this and choose a file from our device or go on online pictures, which will open the browser that we've seen in the previous video. Once we add a header to the file, it will also add a footer at the end of the page, where we can add the same things that we add on the header, so page number, date and time, document infos, quick parts, which are pre-formatted text, such as auto text or document property, or we can insert a field. Then, of course, we can still add pictures. And if we click on the command footer, just like we did on header, we have a few templates that we can choose from. For example, let's choose this one with page number, since we deleted it from the header. Let's put it here. And with the template that we choose for the footer, it also added a formatting to the entire page. And as you can see, once we had it in the first footer, we also have it in the footer of the pages below. Same thing for the header. So one thing that we write on the header will go in the following page as well. Of course, anything we write, we can format just like we did for the paragraphs and font before. For example, if you want the title of the document to go, just click here. And as you can see, it moved to the right. And of course, we can format the font however we want as well. And same thing for the footer, even if right now since we chose a file for it, it is already formatted, but we can still change it if we want. But for example, if you wanna write here chapter 1, and in the following page, chapter 2, as you can see, it doesn't work because it changed here as well. So if we want to change just one header but not the other, we have to divide the text in different sections. In this case, we still don't have a text, so let's get a filler one. Okay, now that we have it, let's go, for example, at the end of the first page on layout, and let's go to section breaks continuous. So now that we've divided the text in two sections, this being the first one and the second page being the second section, we can go on the header, select what we want to change. And as you can see here, we have the option link to previous, which means that this header, it's currently linked to the previous one. So any change we make on one, it will show on the other as well. But if we click on it, the two headers are no longer linked. So here we can leave chapter 2 and we can go to the first header and write chapter 1. And if we go down, as you can see, it didn't change this header. Then of course we also have this page that right now it's linked to the previous one. And if we want to change this one as well, we have to follow the same steps. In the tab header and footer, we also have other commands that are useful. The first one being different first page. If we want the first page of our document to have a different header compared to the rest of the document, or a different footer. Meanwhile, different odd and even pages, it's if we want the odd pages to have a different header or footer compared to the even pages. And show document text is to show while you're editing the file, not only the header and footer, but also the entire page, as you can see right now. Then with these options on the group position, we can move the header to the top or bottom. And we can do the same with the option footer from bottom, as you can see. And then we can insert with this option an alignment tab, which is the option that we've seen in videos before by using the rulers that we have right here. Once we're done with the changes of our header and footer, we just click on close header and footer, and we go back to the normal layout of the page. And this is everything for the option header and footer. So let's go back to the insert tab, and let's see other commands that we have. In the same group, we have page number, which is the same command that we've seen earlier, and that we have used to add the page number to our file. So let's move to the group text, where the first command is text box. This command just adds a text box inside our file. And as you can see, we have a few templates that we can choose from, and then we can find more on office.com, or we can draw our own text box by clicking on it and then clicking and dragging on our file. And as you can see, we have a new text box where we can write whatever we want and format the text box and the text inside however we want. Let's go back to insert. Next to text box, we have the command quick parts that we briefly saw when we were seeing the header and footer. So it's the command to add auto text or document property inside of our file. Then we have word art, which are just the templates of effects that we can add to our text. And then we have a new command that we haven't seen before, which is drop crop. Drop crop is the option to make the first letter of a paragraph, page, or file, whatever we want, bigger than the rest. And we can have it dropped, which means it's inside the paragraph, or in the margin, so outside the paragraph. We also have more options, as we can still choose if we want it dropped or in the margin, and we can choose the font for the drop cap, which can be different from the font of the entire text. We don't have a preview for the font, so if you don't know the name of the font, you cannot see how it will appear before you click OK. But still, if you choose a font that you don't like, it's really easy to change it afterwards. And then you can choose how big you want the drop cap to be and the distance from the text. Another option that we have in this group of commands is signature line. To add one, we can either use a signature service or use a Microsoft Office one. If you use the Microsoft Office, we have to fill in all this menu, and once we're done, we just click on OK and we'll add a signature line. Then, still on this group of commands, we have date and time, which we have already seen before, and we have added the date. And lastly, we have the option object, which allows us to add objects such as an Excel spreadsheet or another Word document inside this file. Lastly, for this video, we're going to see how to insert a footnote, an endnote, and a citation. To do so, we go on the References club, and we can find those commands on the group Footnotes and the group Citations and Bibliography. First of all, a footnote is a note that we find at the end of the page, right above the footer. And to add one, it's really easy. We just click on this command, and it will automatically appear here. And as you can see, it has also the number 1 because it's the first footnote. And of course, we can write whatever we want and format the note just like any other text. We can choose whatever we want. To add another, we have to go to the following page, go back to references and click insert footnote. And as you can see, it goes automatically to number 2. So you don't have to update the number each time you go on insert footnote because it does it for you. And as you can see, the number that we have here will appear also on the text. In this case, it appeared at the end of the text because when I clicked on the command, I was here with the bar. But for example, if we go back and we go here and then click insert footnote, the number 2 will appear exactly where we were. Let's insert now an endnote, which is a note that appears at the end of our text. In this case, it was added at page 4, even if page 3 is empty, because we added page 3 using the command blank page, so it left it blank. The only way to fill it is if we had a text. But if we use an endnote, it will go to the following page. And here is just like a footnote, so we can write whatever we need to write and format the text however we want. So let's move now to the citation. To insert a citation, we simply use this command and go on add new source. Here we have to fill in all this menu by choosing the type of source that we're citing, choosing the language, that right now it's the default language of the file, and then we write the author, the title, the year, the city, the publisher, and then we can also show more fields for our citation. And if you want to fill them all in, we can. And then click on OK. And the citation will appear, in this case, right after our endnote, because that's where we were before. And in this case, this is the citation that we just added. Since we didn't fill in all the information that we needed, it just says placeholder 1, because it's a placeholder for the citation. But of course, if you filled in the information, that would appear here. We can also change the style of the citation between these two, according to what we need. And we can also use a built-in bibliography or insert a new one. And then we just fill in all the information that we want. So this is everything for today's video. Thank you for following me. I invite you to subscribe to the channel to support us and to stay tuned for the next videos. Thank you for watching.